Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Thursday the 10th of October 2024, the year of 1 million transactions per second and more. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's see what we got in store for us today. We've got to mention this. These again going back to Copa, supposedly independent witnesses, and here we have Sarah Meiklejohn sat right next to Greg Maxwell. Literally, how much closer do you want to get? Independent, honestly, it was such a stitch up. Like, you know, that is nuts. Anyway, we're gonna go through that. Then we've got this article here by CoinGeek, which looks fantastic. This is all about a tree chat, bringing back TwitChat, Hodl Locker, and a few others. Yeah, it looks awesome. Quite looking forward to going through that. There was an article here by John Southurst saying that he watched the HBO documentary, so you didn't have to. It's quite a long article, this one. I'm not going to go through all of it, but you know, we know what it's all about. Then we've just got a few posts I want to touch on. Then we'll read this article by BSV Blockchain saying why supply chains need the BSV blockchain. Some posts here by Craig, a little bit 365 days of Bitcoin history. Some more exciting posts there. And that'll be at the end of the show. Right, let's crack on with it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, the transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Right then, so Craig has posted this. He said the presence of Sarah Meiklejohn at a 2015 gathering with BTC Core members directly undermines her position as an independent expert. She has testified under oath that she has had no dealings with BTC Core. Oh my goodness me. Yet this image clearly evidences her association with the group during a critical time for Bitcoin's development. Such evidence is significant in challenging the credibility of her statements, suggesting a potential bias that conflicts with her claims of independence. The implication is that she cannot maintain an objective stance if she has been involved with those who now claim to be independent from. This directly affects the weight and reliability of her expert testimony. If her independence is central to her role in legal proceedings, this photograph serves as a contradiction to her sworn statements, raising serious questions about her impartiality and integrity. It also opens the door for legal arguments that her prior association with BTC Core members were not disclosed, potentially misleading the court regarding her true relationship with the parties involved. Her testimony is thereby compromised, calling into question the fairness and objectivity of any opinion she has provided in this capacity. Look at that. There she is. There she is. Sarah Meiklejohn right next to Greg Maxwell. Literally the lead core developer who implemented SegWit, didn't want to scale Bitcoin, didn't want people to use it, wanted to corrupt it, remove all contractual credibility, all economic value. That's what he wanted. Not many use it. Store value, digital gold, bollocks. That's all him. It's all him. You know, so quite shocking that. But there has been others that we will see if we can have a quick look at. Well, let's have a look at this first though. So CoinGeek has said here, Tree Chat resurrects archives from Twitch and Hodl Locker. All right. So what's the point of putting social media posts on blockchain? Tree Chat has answered that question, resurrecting archives from Twitch and Hodl Locker. Those archives are now searchable and quotable on Tree Chat's posting network, much to the delight of past users who feared their musings could be lost to history. Using a blockchain social network would protect you from censorship, and if recorded on chain, your post would be always recoverable. That was the original promise. However, the unanswered question from that promise was how everyone's content could be recovered from a proprietary service if that service disappeared someday. Maybe you can recover your own archive, but would you ever see all your friends or their posts again? And the post here from TreeChat says, we turned 1 million Bitcoin transactions into a searchable stream of at Twitch app threads. We live the Web3 life by harnessing a Bitcoin schema from a wild Satoshi, the Jungle Bus APIs from Mine Like an Ape, and the work of CoinEasy and Nondual Randy and Co. by turning on-chain bits into... we'll just have a look at that. Into Mind Eye memes. Oh, cool! Fantastic. Looking forward to that. Twitch and HODL Locker used the public Bitcoin schema protocol developed by Luke Rosanna. Is that Rosanna? To write posts to the BSV blockchain as individual transactions. Thanks to this, TreeChat was able to use the same protocol to recompose the raw transaction data to create new posts on its own network, complete with content, likes, and locks. Retrieving that raw transaction data required the Jungle Bus API to make it easier. TreeChat would otherwise have needed to run its own node, making things more time-consuming and expensive. The archives from those two networks are now available in their own separate streams on TreeChat. CoinGeek spoke to TreeChat founder Dimitri Fabrikant, he's at Metameter, on the process of restoring on-chain social networks. Josh and Billy, CoinEasy and Nondual Randy, built Twitch and had the foresight and vision to write user content to the blockchain, which made it so that users writing exited independently of Twitch, the proprietary platform, he said. In other words, the content users created existent independently of a third party because it was published on Bitcoin's public blockchain. Sometimes that is only possible on big block Bitcoin due to unlimited block size and tiny fees. The process was similar to HODL Locker, he added. HODL Locker also published user content to the chain using Bitcoin schema, making it possible for anyone to republish it in a different app even after they shut down. The same is true for TreeChat. We publish public messages to the Bitcoin blockchain using Bitcoin schema so that user content will live independently from us, and users will be free to move their content to any app they choose in the future, Fabrikant shared. Fabrikant emphasized that all this is possible only because writing data to the BSV blockchain is cheap and allows users to communicate on an immutable public ledger without relying on third-party apps to maintain their work. Apps themselves provide the user experience to present the data. If one app goes down, then another one can step into its place. While there's no guarantee another app will ever do that, the BSV blockchain at least makes it possible. It's hard to imagine that an unrelated, independently built app could ever store the entire proprietary archives of Twitter, X, or Facebook, should they ever go away from Friendster, Google+, or Orkut. We decided to do this because we built on Big Block Bitcoin and saw that many people were sad to see Twitch shut down. Fabrikant added, we wanted to do something valuable for the BSV community and the same time demonstrate the power of building on public ledger. Everyone talks about the potential use cases and advantages of building on Web3, but we've actually put this into practice twice now, resurrecting the work of real people who would otherwise be unable to access their writings. TreeChat, previously known as Navigator, does have a very slick interface, and although navigating it takes some practice for newcomers, it's original and logical. Posts can have their own infinite threads and can have any of their replies. Its pages are sort into versatile columns that appear, shift around, and close as users choose. Social media is a difficult business, but preserving content shouldn't be. Social networks on scalable blockchain are a great idea in theory, but so far they've struggled to achieve the true longevity. Twitch was recently retired after putting up a valiant fight for years. HODL Locker was the flame that burnt twice as bright but half as long. MyTwoCents.io continues to soldier on, as do Lament and MemoSV. And does anyone remember Palping, WeBlock, Weedle, and Topical? Despite their compelling features of the on-chain permanent records and micropayments for interactions, they face the same challenges as every other newcomer over the past 2 decades. Taking a large enough chunk of the network effect away from established giants is hard. The additional connection on blockchain makes them even more unnecessary tribal. Economic models based around micropayments and incentives also need some fine-tuning. They're not as obvious as one might assume, and no one has hit the sweet spot just yet. Here we go. This is a post on Tree Chat saying Twitch did some things right, but there were also a few things that were really bad. Here's some of my thoughts on that. Best case scenario, they helped Tree Chat. In my opinion, the great mistake Twitch made was marketing their product services as earning site. This attracted beggars, scammers, and damsels in distress, which was a disaster. The idea that users in general earn on such a site is ludicrous. At scale, top accounts would make money. Most never will. The expectation that average social media users will earn money from posting nonsense either turns people away, disillusioned once they realise it's not happening, or make them resort to begging and emotional blackmail, which makes everyone else turn away. Fairly good point there. Not every former social network mentioned above featured on-chain content. Although this should be a goal for any developer looking to build long-lasting services, even if the original service itself isn't. Twitch and Hodlocker, despite their ultimate demise, did understand that principle. Thanks to that, those two apps will live on in some form. Even if TreeChat itself doesn't manage to solve the economics and user acquisition problems, its content will be forever on-chain. This structure has several advantages according to Fabricant. One, it gives users great ownership over their data, so they don't have to worry about losing everything in the event of apps deciding to shut down. It allows users to move between apps without losing the content and relationships they create, preventing platform lock-in. 3, it forces developers to compete for users by providing the best user experience and not by holding their data hostage, incentivizing innovation. It prevents developers from censoring users by removing their content from the internet, since the content lives on the blockchain independently of proprietary platforms. Loving that very much so, very much so. Let's see this one. So John South said, I watched Money Electric so you don't have to. We'll just read the introduction here. This was going to be a review, but honestly, it could be summarized as a Blockstream ad, pretending to be a curious piece of entertainment journalism. So I'm simply going to light edit the notes I took while watching the film, and you can take them as summary while my hot takes, spoilers ahead. Have you ever watched a political ad or behind the scenes look at how certain public figures try to seem relatable? I recall Elizabeth Warren awkwardly pretending she drinks cheap beer, or Mitt Romney wearing the mum jeans because he's unsure how the typical denim-wearing population actually dresses. That's the exact feeling you get at the start of Electric Money, the latest documentary about the search for Satoshi Nakamoto. You're greeted by a visually uncomfortable Samson Mao, awkwardly dressed, with a middle schooler on picture day haircut, twitching nervously while trying to appear relatable, all while clearly hoping no one asks any tough questions about Bitcoin with the cameras rolling. That's a great intro. Yeah, loving. I can absolutely fully imagine that. Good grief. Right, let's see what I picked on here. There we go. Look at this. She's an associate friend of Copa, and the case of Copa versus Dr. Wright. The High Court recognised her as an independent expert. This is unlawful. Why did she lie under oath? Oh, absolutely. There she is. And that's her right there, next to Greg Maxwell. Just unbelievable. And check this out. So Jack BSV said, listen to this diva in the BTC camp talking at BTC Amsterdam. Still talking about CSW, who they say isn't Satoshi. Funny how much persuading they have to do. Craig Stephen Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto. Let's have a listen.
Person Satoshi ever communicated with, but his emails weren't in public until Adam came forward to give evidence. And Craig Wright had described these as recording how Adam was dismissive and extremely negative on Bitcoin. Now, anyone who's heard Adam speak for a moment will know he is not famed for his Bitcoin negativity. And actually, it should go without saying that he was very constructive and supportive and positive. He even went out of his way to give Satoshi ideas.
Yeah, about how to not use Bitcoin.
And again, this is just a glimpse of the evidence, but fact by fact, it all had to be trodden through. And I don't have time to tell you about his time capsule, of documents from 2007 left untouched and discovered just before trial, but which contain traces of ChatGPT. And I don't have time to lay out the history.
Yeah, and I just don't have time. I don't have time to tell you anything about Craig Wright. I just don't have time. I don't have time to tell you anything. I just don't have time to tell you anything about Craig Wright. But I've got to tell you this, but I don't have time for it.
History of his LaTeX files, said to be the original source of the white paper, but which expert testimony ripped apart.
No, they didn't. They actually didn't assess it in the way that was required.
And the metadata on the cloud platform that he had used recorded his every keystroke, showing that it had been forged up at the end of last year for the trial. No, I can't possibly have time.
Here we go again. Just haven't got time. Just haven't got time for it.
To recount everything. But what we do see is 150 years ago and today, somebody coming forward with an extremely time-consuming and spurious claim to a name that they don't deserve and a legacy that is not theirs.
You finished yet, mate?
The Titchborn.
Just going on and on about Craig. Honestly, it's like they're obsessed with him. I wonder why that would be. Good grief. And let's have a listen to this. Peter Todd. Literally, break it down as we go through it. Here we go.
It's kind of a shame that not many of us are say mining on testnet.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
I should at least have done that in the past couple years.
Testnet,
yeah, there are some.
Right now.
Yeah. WAP is
What are your thoughts on
angry.
that? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, the bigger picture there is this idea that you'll somehow make testnet useless for anything other than testing. I don't think the proposals floating around Bitcoin Core are anywhere close to doing that. I mean, for one thing, they're still hanging on to this idea that you can keep the same coin issuance schedule as Bitcoin, and somehow it will still be worthless.
Yeah. So let's just simply not test on a testnet that has the same coin issuance as Bitcoin. And let's see how that works, because we don't really want to keep the 21 million Bitcoin, because what we're pushing for is inflation that we will control because we are financed by the central banks.
Like it or not, people will find excuses even if you claim you're going to reset it. Because if you reset it, every time you do that, it's a huge pain in the ass. I mean, I personally run a testnet DNS seed, and I don't know I'm going to bother turning into testnet 4 or something. Screw that. There's more important things to worry about. Sure. I think they would be much better off just taking testnet as it is and hard forking it to just remove the coin issuance to at least make that not a problem.
Yeah, because coin issuance is a problem on any testnet when you're trying to test things on Bitcoin. What a joke.
But you still have the issue that testnet block space is potentially valuable. In a testnet 4 block space, some scammer is probably still going to use it for something.
I mean, that was one of the points. Because I did kind of stumble my way through some of the Bitcoin mailing list discussion on this, of saying, well, we could just reset testnet to V4, but what does that solve? That just
it'll
puts
probably
back
happen
to zero,
all over
and
again.
it doesn't solve the incentive.
And also, because you've done this, you've kind of given marketing to certain types of these scammy projects. I mean, much the same way as, let's say, the reaction we got to ordinals and inscriptions, that gave them all the marketing they needed.
And they're what? Scammy projects, are they?
If Bitcoiners had done nothing other than just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's right. That everybody just needs to shut the fuck up and not talk about SegWit or any of the things that we've done. Don't talk about Taproot or replaced by fee or child pays for parent or anything like that. Don't talk about the restricted block size. Just shut up. No.
Not interacted with them, I don't think ordinals and inscriptions would be the thing it is. It's kind of a
Honestly, what an absolute joke shop that is. An absolute joke shop. Oh my goodness me. There was something else. Oh yeah, let's have a look at this. So why supply chains need the BSV blockchain? Well, everything needs to validate where it's come from. So supply chain management is the backbone of many industries, ensuring the seamless flow of goods from manufacturer to consumer. However, traditional supply chains face numerous challenges, including lack of transparency, delays, fraud, and inefficiencies in coordination. into the BSV blockchain, which is emerging as a game changer for supply chain management. The BSV blockchain's secure and immutable data addresses many of the critical issues that have long plagued global supply chains. Its adoption in supply chain management offers real-time visibility, transparency, traceability, and flexibility that was previously unattainable. Real-time visibility and end-to-end overview. One of the biggest challenges in supply chain management is the inability to monitor the movement of goods in real time across multiple points in the supply chain. Traditional systems often involve disparate databases that make it hard to track products from their source to their destination, leading to gaps in information and delays in identifying issues. The BSV blockchain solves this by providing an immutable shared ledger where all parties, manufacturers, suppliers, logistics providers, and retailers can record transactions and updates in real time. Each movement of a product is documented on the blockchain, which is accessible to every authorized party. The real-time visibility improves decision-making, optimizes logistics, and significantly reduces delays caused by misinformation or data silos. For instance, in food supply chains, where perishable goods must move quickly, the BSV blockchain can track temperature-sensitive products through their journey. This transparency minimizes risks and assures quality control, as stakeholders can intervene immediately when deviations occur, ensuring products meet regulatory and quality standards. Transparency, building trust and accountability. One of the BSV blockchain's most transformative contributions to supply chain management is its ability to foster trust among participants by ensuring data integrity and accountability. Traditional supply chains often suffer from a lack of transparency due to the reliance on intermediaries who handle different stages of the process. This can lead to inefficiencies, fraud, and opportunities for corruption. The BSV blockchain enhances transparency by allowing all participants to access the same data, eliminating the need for intermediaries and reducing the chances of tampering or fraud. Since every transaction is recorded in an immutable ledger, any updates or changes made to the product's history are permanently visible and cannot be altered without consensus from all involved parties, which would just be enormous. This level of transparency not only boosts trust, but also ensures greater accountability. For instance, if a product is delayed or damaged during transit, the responsible party can be immediately identified and held accountable, reducing disputes and delays in issue resolution. Traceability, enhanced authentication and compliance. In industries like pharmaceuticals, food and luxury goods, traceability is paramount. Consumers and businesses alike want to know where products come from, how they were made, and whether they meet the certain ethical or regulatory standards. Traditional systems often rely on cumbersome paperwork and manual tracking, which can be prone to errors, fraud, and inefficiencies. The BSV blockchain offers a robust solution by allowing companies to record every step of a product's journey, from raw material sourcing to final delivery. Since blockchain records are immutable, this provides a verifiable chain of custody that enhances product authentication. Customers can use blockchain-enabled system to scan products, QR codes, and access detailed information about its origin and journey. This transparency is vital for industries like food and pharmaceuticals, where safety and compliance with regulations are crucial. For example, companies can easily prove that their product meets sustainability certificates, or that batch of medicine has followed all required safety protocols. Very good. Moreover, in the event of all product recalls, blockchain allows companies to quickly trace and affect batches back to their source, minimizing the risk to consumers and the costs involved in managing the recall process. Streamlining processes with smart contracts. Traditional supply chain processes often rely on intermediaries and manual interventions, which can lead to inefficiencies, delays, and human error. These problems are especially evident in processes like payment, contract enforcement, and order tracking. Also in law, issuing of warrants and stuff. Smart contracts, which are self-executing, contract with the terms of the agreement directly written into code, offer an efficient alternative. Smart contracts can automate key supply chain processes such as payment settlements, shipping tracking, and inventory management, eliminating the need for manual oversight. For instance, a smart contract could be set up to automatically release payments to a supplier once the delivery of goods is confirmed via the blockchain. This reduces payment delays and the risk of fraud. Additional smart contracts offer flexibility by allowing companies to set specific criteria for transactions. For instance, a company might set up a smart contract that automatically triggers a recorder when inventory drops below a certain threshold, ensuring that the supply chain operates without interruptions. The automation of these processes not only improve efficiency, but also reduce operational costs by minimizing the need for intermediaries and manual oversight. Fantastic. That was a great article there. Let's have a look at some of these posts that Craig has put out here. A lot of people throwing this around. So Craig has said, passing off is a fundamental concept in common law, and champagne cases are merely illustrative cases of its principle. It's truly astonishing how some people believe that jurisdiction simply vanishes when we talk about BTC, or that it's just code. It somehow exists out of the reach of legal norms. This is a gross misunderstanding of law in the real world. Legal principles like passing off apply when misrepresentation damages goodwill or reputation. These are not nullified just because the subject involves a digital asset. Jurisdiction does not disappear simply because an entity is decentralized or exists in cyberspace. Courts have repeatedly applied jurisdiction to international companies and digital activities. If your actions cause harm, whether through misrepresentation or otherwise, you're liable regardless of whether your tool is physical or digital. The idea that BTC exists outside of this scope because of its technological nature is not just naive, it's downright daft. The law is not suspended for technology, rather it evolves to encompass new realities. This is a simple truth that some enthusiasts in their ideological fever seem entirely unable to grasp. Yeah. Very, very important messages there. There are other people have reposted his one talking about the champagne cases. Which sound really good, actually. For BTC Core to succeed in defending a claim regarding their representation of BTC as the true condition of Bitcoin, they would need to convincingly argue that BTC aligns with the fundamental principles laid out in Satoshi Nakamoto's writings and the Bitcoin white paper. Well, they can't do that. They've got no chance. Even James Lott admitted that only as 99.96% of the root root code still exist. Well, he missed that that's been changed. So there's only 0.6 that actually remains. And then he's like, we're all Satoshi. Yeah, because they've completely ruined his design. It's outrageous. Craig's on an absolute tear with all these posts. Amazing. So then we've got this one here that Craig responded to BitCrash, where BitCrash has said making Satoshi not exists protects them from having to answer to Satoshi, and Craig, being Satoshi, grills them for being wrong on many aspects of the functionality of Bitcoin. And that was in response to Craig saying, Adam Back's claim that no one knows who Satoshi is, and that's a good thing, begs the question, a good thing for whom? The answer reveals the self-serving nature of the narrative around BTC and its leadership. So in response to BitCrash, Craig said, no, it made them vulnerable to what is coming. Oh, so it's an opposite. From protection, it makes them vulnerable now to what is coming. Whew. This is looking juicy, ladies and gentlemen. Looking real juicy. Yeah, loving that. Let's have a look at it being 365 days of Bitcoin history. We're on the 10th of October. So on the 10th of October, on 2014, a judge rejects defense that the FBI illegally hacked Silk Road on a technicality. That was just going back to the Silk Road case. But also on the 10th of October 2019, Charlie Lee excuses himself from being responsible for any losses incurred by those who invest in his Litecoin creation. Let's see if we've got put this on YouTube.
You created Litecoin, right? So this has to be something like you're incredibly passionate about.
Yeah, as most of you probably know, I kind of created it just for fun, right? Didn't really expect it to become anything.
And I just remember the guy that founded Litecoin sold it all on the top. And I was like, dude, not great as the founder to unload everything literally on the high tick. Great as a speculator, but not as a community builder.
Yeah, not as a community builder at all. We ripped everybody off, look. The interview with Charlie Lee, you created Litecoin. It has to be something you're incredibly passionate about. And he's like, most of you probably know, I kind of created it just for fun, right? I didn't expect it to become anything. And then according to the Litecoin Foundation, Charlie Lee sold all of his Litecoin holdings at $98, $155, and $350. Back in 2019, the price was $57. Let's have a look at this shitcoin today, shall we? Where is it? I haven't actually had a look at Litecoin for a long time. Like, $64. Like, dear, oh dear. But he sold most of it at $350. Good grief. All above where it is now. Good grief. Good grief. So yeah, there we go. Right, that is a 30-minute show. Didn't mean it to be that long, so we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sentbit.com, Handcash.io, Simply.cash, Relasia.com, Rockwallet.me, or Senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.